Today I'm going to be sharing about my journey of licensing my VA business, what that means and what it means for you as well. This will be useful whether you are a therapist in private practice or whether you are a VA who wants to work with therapists in private practice. I'm really hoping that I can fully explain what it is that I am doing with my business going forward and how it will affect you. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kim. I help therapists in private practice with their business systems and processes, getting them confident with admin and reducing tech overwhelm. So a little bit of a backstory. I started working as a virtual assistant for therapists in private practice in 2016. Feels like such a long time ago. My daughter wasn't even born yet. I don't even know if she was even conceived yet. And I started working for one of my friends who had just moved into private practice and needed some help with her invoicing and bookkeeping. And my business slowly grew from there. I would say I didn't even really know I had a business at the time. I was just helping out a friend, and then she referred me to someone else, and then I got referred to someone else. And so for the next 4 years, I kind of just worked part-time. I had my son at home, then I did have my daughter, and I definitely wouldn't have said I have a virtual assistant business or anything like that. And then in 2020, when we all know what happened, I was just in the right place at the right time, working with Tamara Howell. She had just launched her online course called Learn to Love Online Therapy, and it was going really well because lots of therapists wanted to learn how to work online. And what happened was, when she taught them how to work online with clients, there was like a gap after that of like, okay, but what about the systems that you need? And that's where I stepped in. And so my business grew massively, working with those lotties, that's what she called them, basically helping them set up their system, so Google Workspace, and then we used Power Diary, which is now called Xander. And so I did the online setups, and then I worked for them day to day, helping them run their practice. And it really snowballed really quickly from there. And I ended up hiring people to work for me as virtual assistants to work day to day with the therapist. And again, that kept growing as well. Running this type of business was really fun, and I really enjoyed every aspect of it until there came a point where one of the VAs completely went MIA and left me in the lurch with lots of clients. I think it was 7 clients, and it all fell on me. I then had to work for all of those clients. I had to figure out what we were going to do with them. I had to let some of them go. Just an FYI. We didn't just leave them in the lurch. I found other VAs for them. I trained them. It was a great handover. I don't think any of them would complain about that process, but it was the most stressful time, like probably in my life. And it just made me realize I don't want to do this. I don't want to grow this agency. I don't want to rely on people that can let me down. And I have kind of moved away from that a little bit after a few more years, and that happening again, and dealing with that situation differently with hindsight and having gone through it before. But at the same time, I had learned about, licensing and franchising, which are slightly different. And I was really intrigued about the concept of licensing my business. So let me explain what licensing actually means. Basically what it is I have created a framework and a training program to train VAs how to basically be me, how to work with therapists in private practice the exact way I do. All of my, processes, my SOPs, my systems, like all the things that I have created, I have put into a package that I can then sell as a training course. What the difference is with this training course is they will need to do an assessment to prove to me that they are competent in what I've taught them and that they can work with therapists in private practice the way that I have trained them, and then they will be certified. So they will become virtually irreplaceable partners or VIPs. And then I will then promote them as licensed VAs under my business. They do not have to trade, and they cannot trade as virtually irreplaceable. They will have their own business, but they can say that they're virtually irreplaceable partners. They can, use all of my stuff, so all of my training, all of my systems, all of the things that I've created for therapists, they can use all of that, and they will get support from me. They will get marketing support from me to help them find clients, and they will get just actual support on a day-to-day basis if there's anything that comes up with their clients. But basically the relationship is between the therapist and the VA. I am not in it at all. So as an agency, the therapist would book with me, and I would then subcontract the work to somebody else, but it's not like that. The connection is only between the therapist and the VA, and I am then removed from it, which means that the VA can earn 100% of the money from the therapist. I also believe that when someone has their own business, as opposed to just working as an associate for a VA, that they care more. It's more responsibility. They take it more seriously because it's their own business. But the benefit to the therapist is if anything happens to that VA, there's lots of other VAs that, they can come back to my website and have a look and find somebody else that could easily just step in, because that VA would have already set up all the processes and all the systems exactly as I would. So it'll be really easy to replace that person, because you can't guarantee that a VA is going to stay with you forever, but it's going to be much easier to replace that VA with limited disruption to your practice. This licensing program isn't just like a badge. It's not just, I just give them a certificate of like, yeah, you're a virtually replaceable partner. It's a standard that I'm setting, and they have to be able to meet that standard to be certified. So I have built up trust with my audience, whether that's through YouTube, whether that's through clients that I've worked with, whether that's on my mailing list, and by giving free resources away and things like that. I have built up that trust, and I will only recommend VAs who I know can recreate what it is that I do, because I don't want to lose trust with my audience. One of the things that I have found with working with therapists in private practice, and I'm generalizing, it's not everybody, but lots of therapists, when they come to me, want my expertise, as opposed to just saying, here's all the stuff I do, can you do it for me? Because actually there's usually a quicker, automated way to do something. So before we start working with a therapist on a day-to-day basis, we do an online setup, which is basically making sure that you have all the systems in place, all the automation set up, everything is done, so that when we take over running the practice, the admin is reduced, so the amount of hours you're spending with us is less, and also everything is streamlined, and we are really thinking about your clients and the service that we are giving them as well as you. For VAs, the benefits of doing the licensing program is, so they get the training on how to work with therapists, but they also get the confidence in being able to do proposals, do discovery calls with clients, and come across as the experts that they are in the industry, so that they can confidently grow their business. My goal with this is really to connect as many therapists and VAs as possible. So I really want to bridge that gap of therapists being able to find a reputable and reliable VA, and for VAs to be able to find therapist clients. So the benefits to therapists are that you will be able to come to my website, view a directory of VAs that I have personally trained and certified, and you will know that every single person on that list will have all the training that I have given them. They have been assessed and certified, and that they fully understand how to run a private practice, and that you will feel confident in picking anyone on the website that they will understand how to run your business for you confidently with the best systems that I recommend. It will save you time and reduce your stress in trying to find a VA, and it does also mean that there are going to be far less mistakes and that weird handing over period and training period, because actually there is no training really required, and that we will set the systems up for you, and we can just seamlessly take over running the practice, and your clients will feel completely looked after, and you will feel confident working with the VA. Really, what I want for all people in business is that they can focus on what they got into business for, what they enjoy doing, what they're good at, and leave all the rest to somebody else without having to worry and stress about it being done correctly. So for VAs, what I am giving them is basically a business in the box. I am teaching them the best way to work with therapists in private practice confidently, and using the systems that I know work really well for therapists in private practice. I'm giving them all of my systems and processes and SOPs and everything that they will need in order to run a private practice with any therapist. They will get ongoing support and resources and any updated training as and when systems change, which they do inevitably all the time. And what I'm hoping is that they have the same experience that I had, where when they start working with a therapist, that therapist recommends them because they're doing such a good job, and they'll be able to grow their business much faster doing it that way, rather than just finding clients off the internet or working with friends and, charging less than their worth and all that kind of stuff. I really want to help VAs feel really confident working with therapists. Me licensing my business really isn't about me and my business. It's really about connecting therapists and VAs. I have been working with therapists in private practice for a really long time, and I enjoy helping them a lot. And during that time of growing my agency, I've also trained and helped a lot of VAs grow their business as well and provide them with a stable income, something that they can rely on. But I really want to do that on a bigger scale by helping more VAs, but not growing my agency, as I explained before. I want them to be able to have their own business, grow their own agencies, and really help VAs feel confident in growing and running their own business, and really help therapists in being able to outsource the items that either they're not good at or they don't enjoy, so that they can focus on their clients, and possibly even doing different projects on the side, like opening a group practice or starting group programs or making an online course, whatever it is that they want to do and that they are passionate about. I really want to help them do that, and by matching them with a VA, it's going to enable them to be able to do that. I'm so passionate about all of this. I've been working on this licensing program for over 2 years. I have gone through the beta launch of it where I have trained 3 VAs in my processes, and that has gone really well. I'm just about to launch the actual program itself to completely new people, so people who just want to come and do the licensing program. Hopefully by the time this video is up, I'll have an information page that I can either put a QR code up or link below, so that people can find out a bit more about the licensing program. I should also have the directory listing up soon, fingers crossed, with the people that went through the beta program, because they did it fully. They are fully trained and certified. And yeah, I wrote down at the beginning of the year that I want to connect 100 therapists to VAs. That is my goal. So it won't be done this year, obviously, but my goal is to connect 100 therapists with VAs. And I know that this is the best way that I can do that, and I'm super excited about it. If you have any questions about the licensing program, whether you're a therapist or a VA, I'd love to answer them for you. You can also email me, contact me many different ways. I'd love to chat to you about the Virtually Irreplaceable Partner licensing program. That's a mouthful. That is a mouthful. Anyway, I'm super excited about this next stage of my business, and I really hope that you stick around and see how I get on. I'm going to be documenting it. I vlogged loads of the process of doing the licensing program, and I lost all the footage. It was so sad. I actually even edited 2 videos, and something happened and the data got corrupted, and so I did have like all of the footage about, you know, how I went from like deciding this to working with a lawyer on the contracts and loads of stuff. And it's really sad that that has all gone, but I'm going to start documenting it again from now. And so hopefully I can pull some kind of vlog together of, you know, of launching this offer, and yeah, we'll see how it goes in a few years time. We can look back together and see how far it's come. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really hope you found it useful, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments.